Hey, what's up guys, and welcome to a new China phone video. So today I want to show you what's inside a Chinese iPhone clone. As you may know, they are extremely cheap, and I always say, you get what you pay for. This phone is broken, it does not power on anymore after some drops. And now let's open it up and let's see what's inside, so there we go. Okay, so to open up the fake iPhone, you have to unscrew those two T2 screws here at the bottom. And basically this is just like on the real iPhone 5, so you open the real one exactly like this. You unscrew those two screws here, and then you use a sucker or a flathead to separate the display from the case. And I will do this here right now. Okay, now we are done and we have two parts. We have separated the display from the case. And now we can remove the display by just opening up those connectors, and then we can take a look at the display. And now here you can see the full display unit. And I have to say the display on fake iPhones is amazing. It is cheap, has good colors, has great viewing angles, but the resolution is not that good. But 80% of the people won't notice a difference. And the whole unit consists out of a display, a digitizer and a glass plate, and all that stuff is glued together. And as you can see, it is very thin. But if you take a closer look at it, then you can see that there is already a little gap between the display and the glass plate. And I think I could manage it to heat it up and separate the display from the glass without damaging it. But I have not tried it yet, so I don't think that the display or the glass only is replaceable on those phones. And here you can see that the display unit has two connectors. So one connector is for the display and the other connector is for the digitizer, so pretty simple. And I wouldn't say that the display is the cheapest part on that phone. So let's take a closer look at the internals. Here we can see everything which is inside of the phone, and the big blue thing here is the main board, which has all the important parts on it, like the microsd card, which is the internal memory, SIM card slot, CPU and all that other stuff. Then here we can see the battery of the phone, and as you can see, it's the biggest part of the phone. Here we have the connectors. Then here we have a metal housing, so this protects some important ICs or other chips on the phone. And then to the right we have the back camera and the connector for it. Then here we have the front camera, and under the front camera the speaker. And the round thing in the right top corner is the mainboard battery. So basically this counts the time and saves all the important settings on the board when your big battery is out of power. Then to the left we can see another circuit board which contains the home button, and right over the home button there's the 3.5mm headphone jack. The black thing here is the speaker, which is only on one side here on this phone. And here we can see the antenna of the phone, so this is the GSM antenna. So pretty simple, and sometimes the soldering points from the antenna cable to the case are not that good on some phones, and I have resoldered them, which resulted in a much better connection. Okay, then now let me quickly remove the battery, and as you can see it's soldered to the board, so it's not plug and play like on Android smartphones where you can just remove the battery and reinsert it. Here you have to open up the case, then unsolder the wires, put in a new battery and resolder the wires. And I will do this here right now. Now this is the battery of the fake iPhone, and here we can see that it has 3.7 volts and a capacity of 1200 mAh, so a very small battery for a smartphone, but also those fake iPhones don't take that much power, so I think you can barely get through one day with a full charge. And this very small battery is also a factor why this phone is that cheap. So this is the case now without battery but with the mainboard. And the really funny thing is that the microsd card here is replaceable. On the real iPhone, the memory is soldered to the mainboard, but here you just have a microsd card slot and you can replace the memory with a microsd card. This also makes it cheaper, and I would really like to try to upgrade the internal memory. I'm not sure if the software supports it, but I will try to replace the microsd card. Okay, then here we have the charging port connector, so if the charging port breaks down you can replace it. Then let's get this tape off from the mainboard and let's see what is under that. Okay, so if we take a closer look at that, then here we can see that the buttons are soldered to the mainboard. So this makes it harder to replace the buttons, but it's also a lot cheaper than having a flex cable and a slot on the mainboard. Okay, what I will do now is unscrew the screws which hold the mainboard in the case, and then I will get out the mainboard of the case, and then we will take a closer look at the things which are on the mainboard, and then we'll see why this phone is that cheap. So just give me a second to get out the mainboard. Okay, so now the mainboard is out and here you can see the case, and it's a full metal case, and I think this is one part which makes the phone a little bit more expensive. The specs are very cheap, but the display and the metal housing make it a little bit more expensive. Okay, so this is the main circuit board from the fake iPhone, and as you can see this includes everything which is in the phone. And let's go quickly through the parts. So the first part which we have here is the volume up and volume down button. Then here we have the mainboard battery, which basically counts the time and date and the basic settings. Then here we have some random connectors. Then here in the middle we have the speaker and the front camera. Then this is the power button to turn on the phone. This is the back camera. We can also open up this little connector and then we can take off the back camera. So let's do this. Okay, so now it's disconnected from the mainboard. Then there comes the SIM card and SD card slots, and then we also have the antenna and the connector for the charging port, which we have right over here, which should be compatible to the Apple Lightning port. Okay, so basically that was everything here on this side. And now let's turn the mainboard around and let's take a look at the other side. Let's start here with the back camera, which you can see right over here. And the back camera on those fake iPhones is total shit, so I think it doesn't cost more than $1. Then here we have the LED flash, which is mostly also shit. Then here we can see the speaker from the back side, and then we have several metal housings which cover all the important chips which are on the phone, like the CPU, GPU and all that stuff. And now I will remove those metal housings, and then we can take a closer look at the chips, and then we will see why this phone is really that cheap. Okay, so now I have removed all those metal housings, and now here you can see the heart of the iPhone. So here we have the MediaTek ARM SoC, so this is the MTK6577A CPU. And also all the other chips which you can see here on the mainboard are made by MediaTek. And this is the main difference why those fake phones or those Chinese phones are that cheap. MediaTek chips are compared to Qualcomm chips 40 times cheaper, and that's a huge price difference. But that doesn't mean that MediaTek chips are bad. Those high quality Qualcomm chips which are used for instance in the real Galaxy S4 are way too overpriced. And for the most users a MediaTek quad-core SoC is more than enough. So there's a huge price difference in those SoCs. But I also have to say the latest MediaTek chipset, for instance the MTK6592 with the 8-core CPU, is also very fast and amazing. They have made so many improvements like GPS for instance. If you may know, GPS was always a problem on MediaTek based phones in the past, but now it got really improved and works well on the most phones. And yeah, so the SoC makes a huge price difference. Okay, so we're now at the end of this video, and here you can see now all parts which were in this fake iPhone. And not only the parts are cheaper, also you don't pay for the brand name, and the workers who produce that phone are a lot cheaper in China. So if you want to support that, that's your own business. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions, just feel free to ask and leave here a comment under this video and I will try to reply as soon as possible. Also don't forget to visit my new website, which is chinadevices.com. The link is all in the description, and if you want to have more information on China phones or ask questions, be sure to check it out. So as always guys, thanks for watching and I hope I see you again in my next videos. Bye bye.